Tonight, a terrifying collision course on the Gold Coast. An armed carjacker's getaway comes to a crashing end that sparked a dramatic citizen's arrest. Back behind bars in Brisbane, the man accused of killing his parents hit with a new allegation as the case goes to court for the first time in Queensland. The death-defying antics of a teenage gang behind the wheel and out of control. We have the shocking moments they put innocent lives at risk. Defiant and defensive, the Premier shrugs off the mounting pressure to open our state as Pauline Hanson pushes for the High Court to step in. And a wage win for casual workers around the country, but many employers say the decision could send them broke.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the dramatic citizen's arrest on the Gold Coast this afternoon. Heroic bystanders leapt into action after a man armed with a fake gun crashed into a stolen car. Matthew Howard is at the scene for us. Matt, was anyone injured?
Well, Georgie, there'll be a few people with some very sore heads tonight, but perhaps no one more so than the alleged car thief at the centre of all of it. It began around 1:50 this afternoon at this intersection here in Broadbeach when a man driving a stolen BMW made an illegal U-turn on the Gold Coast Highway directly into the path of an oncoming tram. The driver and his female passenger jumped from the wrecked car after it was pushed across the intersection as they attempted their getaway. Armed with a faked handgun, the man tried to order another woman behind the wheel to drive them from the scene. Bravely, she refused, triggering him to grapple her. It was then Joel Pearce ran out from his nearby unit and leapt on the man's back. He copped a punch to the jaw before extra bystanders came in to help to hold him down until police arrived. Both have been praised for their bravery.
Yeah, she's a trooper. Mate, don't mess with girls. Don't mess with women, cars or handbags, mate. There's a rule for you.
And as I ran up towards him, he hit me once. Fortunately, I didn't pass out or anything. And I just jumped around his neck and brought him to the ground, and two other guys came and held him down with me until the cops came.
Paramedics assessed 19 people aboard the tram, but none were taken to hospital. As for that brave female driver, well, she escorted herself to the doctors with some injuries to her wrist. The alleged carjackers, meanwhile, well, they're in police custody tonight, awaiting a very long list of charges and a court date tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Matt, live there at Broadbeach. The man accused of killing his parents on Brisbane's north side is now facing an additional charge. Police say the 31-year-old attempted to torch the family home where his parents' bodies were found.
In the back of a police car pulling into Pine River's Watch House after a long drive from Sydney. Christopher Puglia was arrested in New South Wales on Sunday and charged over the brutal deaths of his parents. Facing 2 counts of murder and unlawful use of a motor vehicle, the 31-year-old was represented in Pine River's Magistrates Court today.
Given the nature of the allegations, it goes without saying that he's pretty overwhelmed. That's all he really said to me.
Police allege Mr Puglia bashed his parents, Loris and Frank, to death at their bed and breakfast north of Brisbane on Saturday before heading south in his father's Toyota RAV4. Today, the court heard he's facing a fresh charge of attempted arson for allegedly trying to set fire to the Joyner property. Mr Puglia's lawyer told the court the 31-year-old wanted to appear in person to hear the proceedings, but couldn't due to COVID-19 restrictions.
He just wanted to see what the process was and to be aware of his situation, that's all.
Police will set up a command post at Right Reserve this Saturday afternoon, calling for anyone who noticed suspicious activity the afternoon before Loris and Frank Puglia were found dead to come forward. Their son and accused killer will remain behind bars. His case returns to court in July. Samantha Butler for 10 News First.
We have shocking video now of teenagers behind the wheel of a stolen car north of Brisbane. The social media posts reveal the reckless antics of the group, driving on the wrong side of the road as far north as the Sunshine Coast. Police were inundated with 000 calls from terrified motorists. 5 teenagers, including one aged just 13, have now been charged. More fuel has been added to the blazing border battle, with the Premier insisting she won't be lectured by other states. But pressure is mounting on Anastasia Palaszczuk, with Pauline Hanson now threatening to go all the way to the High Court.
In the battle over borders, another shot fired.
We're not going to be lectured to by a state that has the highest number of cases in Australia.
The Premier taking aim at New South Wales, determined to keep Queensland closed on another day of 0 cases.
And why would we put all that at risk? I mean, we don't want to go backwards, we want to go forwards.
Standing firm on September as a possible time frame to reopen and refusing to budge on monthly reviews. Can you appreciate there may be some confusion though, because there is essentially 2 sets of medical advice at the moment?
No, there isn't. There is one set.
Except there isn't.
Any rationale that might have been there around state border closures, whilst that's up to the states themselves to decide, it's looking pretty thin from the medical point of view.
The advice to National Cabinet was it was up to each individual state. It was very clear.
Will the Premier start treating Queenslanders like adults and release the health advice that she has relied upon to decide to keep our borders closed until September?
The Premier now has a fight on another front.
Anastasia Palaszczuk, be a leader for the state, open up the businesses, open up the borders and let people get on with their lives.
Senator Hanson recruiting a lawyer to challenge the border closure in the High Court.
What did we hear all along? We're in this together. Well, it doesn't appear that way, does it? Not when you want to shut other Australians out.
The government insists transmission rates are still too high in southern states.
If the New South Wales government gets on with the job and wipes out those active cases and stops community transmission, I'll be the first one to stand at the border and welcome them here, Mr. Speaker.
Regional leaders aren't rolling out the welcome mat, calling for more borders around rural centres.
Now, there's been 0 transmission, 0 COVID cases in my electorate, yet we're pretty much operating under the same conditions as the rest of the state.
And state political reporter Claire Barnes joins us now. Claire, there was some good news for the tourism sector today.
Yeah, well, Georgie, hopefully this will provide a bit of a boost to the sector. Queensland will now get a long weekend in August. The government announced today that the Ekka Show Day will move from the traditional Wednesday to Friday the 14th of August. It's designed to encourage Queenslanders to use the 3-day break to hit the road and travel around the state, supporting local businesses and accommodation.
If we can't have sample bags, we might as well pack our travel bags and enjoy this one-off special Queensland holiday to support our local businesses.
Now, local councils outside of Brisbane can make similar arrangements for their show holiday. Georgie?
Thank you, Claire. Live there at State Parliament. The owner of a Toowoomba pet shop is expected to be charged with multiple cruelty offences following an RSPCA raid. Hundreds of animals were seized, including cats, mice and birds, with the sheer number leaving authorities shocked.
In cage after cage, it was the same shocking discovery. Hundreds of mice, many missing tails and scurrying about in their own waste. Cats packed into small enclosures, reaching through the bars for any friendly contact. And then there were the exotic parrots, finches and budgies, crammed onto any perch they could fit.
And he's also missing a leg.
There were similar grim scenes in the fish tanks, with the dead almost equal in number to the living. All but a few of the animals, fish and birds, seized and now in the care of the RSPCA Animal Hospital at Wacol. Those left behind deemed too stressed to travel.
This is the biggest seizure that I've been involved with personally as a vet.
Pet shops aren't exempt from appropriate care. If anything, I feel that there's probably a higher level.
It took a little while for the lone puppy discovered at the pet store to be coaxed from his cage. As well as health checks, every one of the animals seized have been photographed and an assessment of health noted for what's expected to be a lengthy prosecution brief of evidence. With the enormous number of animals and birds involved, it's expected the individual assessment of every one of them won't be completed until sometime next week. The RSPCA ramming home the message that animal mistreatment by individuals as well as businesses won't be tolerated.
They're profiting from animals, yet they're not providing often appropriate care to those animals.
A public petition calling on the business to be closed has so far attracted more than 3,000 signatures. Tim Collins for 10 News First.
Our trade tensions with China could spill over to iron ore, with new rules that threaten to block or hold up Australian shipments from next month. The development comes after the US Secretary of State unleashed on the superpower for threatening economic retaliation against us.
When it comes to the ups and downs of relationships, it hasn't been what you'd call a good week for Australia and China.
China's decision is one that does concern us deeply.
But now an old friend has leapt to our defence.
It's not right. We stand with Australia. The Chinese Communist Party chose to threaten Australia with economic retribution for the simple act of asking for an independent inquiry into the origins of the virus.
The US Secretary of State and the President have used daily media conferences to publicly condemn China over its COVID-19 response.
Well, China, you tell me about it. You think they're right numbers? Do you think China's giving the right number? I don't think so. I saw more problem on television than they were reporting, just by looking at a picture.
President Trump has also accused China of a mass worldwide killing. Tweeting some wacko in China just released a statement blaming everybody other than China for the virus, which has now killed hundreds of thousands of people. This hostile response from the US stems from its own frustrations, but follows China's decision to slap 80% trade tariffs on Australian barley.
I think the timing is more than just coincidental, and it's a part of their past playbook.
To say there are tensions is an understatement.
But let's just recap what's been happening here for the last few years, starting under Malcolm Turnbull. We've been demonising the Chinese and their system of governance.
It was simmering long before COVID-19.
We greatly underestimated the degree to which Beijing is ideologically and politically hostile to free nations. The whole world is waking up to that fact.
But this could be a new tipping point. Amber Austin-Wright for 10 News First.
Casual workers have had a landmark industrial victory, winning the right to claim sick pay and take paid annual leave. But employers are warning the extra cost will send them broke, so many part-timers could lose their jobs instead.
A big win for casual workers.
I hope there'll be more job security.
And a massive blow to businesses.
This decision is unfortunately a driver of uncertainty into the employment market.
The federal court has ruled casuals are entitled to sick and annual leave.
What we have in front of us now is a clear message to every employer. You can't just buy off job security.
The cost? Billions. Experts predict a back bill of $12 billion to both small and big business. Going forward, it will add $6 billion to the wage bill every year.
And if the cost impact is so great that it would cause a lot of small businesses during what is their most challenging time to fold or go into liquidation or have to stand people down, that's not an outcome that's in anyone's mutual interest.
To qualify for JobKeeper payments, businesses had to admit they employed regular and systematic casuals.
Those people are now entitled to annual leave, sick leave, other things that they're now going to have a liability for.
Their honesty could now sink them.
So if JobKeeper was a form of life raft to businesses, then this has certainly put a hole in the side of that life raft.
Government sources have confirmed they want to use legislation to overrule the court decision, but are still weighing up exactly how to do so.
There are some very significant shortcomings in Australia's industrial relations system.
And the last thing that Parliament should be doing is acting as a protection racket to cover for people who've broken the law.
That characterises small business, I think, very unfairly.
And while the federal government can't appeal if one is lodged, Mr Porter says it'll have its full support. Stella Todorovic for 10 News First.
The much-anticipated draw for the NRL season restart has been revealed and not everyone is happy. Reigning premiers, the Roosters, are set for a horror run, but here we've scored 2 Queensland derbies.
20 rounds, 18 to go, all uninterrupted.
I think this year will mean more than other years, given all that we've been through to get the game back up and running.
But a premiership will be tougher for some than others. The Eels haven't won a title since 1986 and may never get a better chance. You could say they've got the dream draw. They'll play most of their games at Bankwest Stadium and only face heavyweights, the Storm, Roosters, Raiders and Bunnies once each. Other notable winners include the Raiders, Penrith and Cronulla.
There are no easy games. Anyone can beat anyone on any given day. There's always going to be elements of inequality in any long competition.
And that's been noted. Roosters chairman Nick Politis fuming at their schedule. He's even banned the word draw within their club. The back-to-back premiers are already 0-2. Now they've got 2 matches against last year's top 4. They joined the Storm and Warriors on the losers list. There'll be 2 grand final rematches in rounds 10 and 17, and we'll finish the season with another rivalry round, kicking off with a Queensland derby. State of Origin has been officially locked in, but no venues confirmed just yet. The women will get a standalone Friday match. So now that the draw has been finalised, everyone has their opinion on the premiership favourites. We put that question to the game's boss today, but like a true politician, he was playing it very cool.
So I'm going to get myself into trouble here, so I won't answer this. So I'm going to actually just smile and say everyone has their opinion on this, and I certainly have mine, but I'm not going to share it today.
Emma Lawrence for 10 News First.
Coming up, the PM's stunning about-face, finally deciding to jump on board electric cars. Also, a family's heartbreaking reality as hope fades of finding a missing Gold Coast surfer. Plus later, the major medical probe that could deliver life-saving outcomes to Queensland kids. And in sport, one of the Broncos' most loyal servants moves on from Red Hill.
Chopsticks at the ready.
We would like you to pimp up these instant noodles.
Your 2-minute noodles are getting a MasterChef makeover.
My mouth is tingling.
All I can say is wow.
The pimped up 2-minute noodles, tonight on 10. And in MasterChef's Best Dish Week, what will be the greatest ever dish?
My God.
Wow.
Do it, baby.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse doesn't win but runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Randwick, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card when you sign up to a new service on the Optus $65 per month SIM-only plan for 24 months with 80 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. That's right. Sign up to a new service on the $65 per month 24-month Optus SIM-only plan and you'll receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card. Offer ends June 30. New services only, not available with other offers. Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
Go! Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Parmesan Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
A third-generation butcher, born and bred. Pop's traditional recipes, Philly's Head. His award-winning sausages are so sublime, you can enjoy these beauties anytime. The British Sausage, Ham and Bacon Company. Australian made the British way.
If you've been injured and can't work, your normal life and income can suddenly stop. Check if you have an insurance claim through your super online in minutes, so you can start again. With Slater and Gordon, tomorrow starts today.
Do it, baby.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse doesn't win but runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Randwick, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
Introducing BP Rewards. Earn BP points to spend in store.
BP Rewards.
Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards.
Or choose to earn Qantas points.
Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. Your rewards, your way.
Monday, Hayley, Mick and Anne are ready to rumble with Ed and Sam. On You, Have You Been Paying Attention?
Well, good afternoon from the ground this RV. A two-car crash in these wet conditions on Wellington Road, northbound in the right lane around Waterloo Street through Kangaroo Point, just before you get to Lytton Road. A car's hit a pole on Lowood Minden Road just after the Warrego Highway heading through Minden. Lights on flash on Gympie Road and Stafford Road through Kedron after a minor accident. Got some big delays on the gateway from pretty much Boondall to the Bruce Highway, and Gympie Road really patchy from Aspley all the way through to the Pine River Bridge, just clearing up a crash now on Albany Creek Road. I'm Dave Andrews, thanks to Mount Gravatt Skoda. Georgie, I'll check the roads again for you later in the bulletin. Meantime, it's back to you.
We'll speak to you again soon. Thanks, Dave. A would-be terrorist who planned mass murder in the heart of Melbourne has been jailed for 10 years. He says he's now turned his back on ISIS after his brother was shot and killed by police during the deadly Bourke Street stabbing.
Taken down before it was too late, Ali Khalif Shir Ali was planning what could have been Australia's worst terror attack on New Year's Eve 3 years ago.
You considered various methods of carrying it out, including the use of a vehicle, a firearm, bladed weapons and a bomb.
The 23-year-old pleaded guilty to planning a terrorist act. Today he was sentenced to 10 years jail with no parole for at least 7.5. Over 2 hours, Justice John Champion detailed Ali's life and crime. He was raised in a loving home and has no criminal history. At an Islamic forum, he described being contacted by intelligence officers.
And he's like, look to your left. I look left and he's standing there like a couple meters away. And he's looking at me. I thought I was in like 007, some movie.
As a university student, he became radicalised by ISIS propaganda.
Despite what had become a nightly routine of viewing ISIS-produced graphically violent and macabre images, your daily life had an outward appearance of normality.
Ali visited here with undercover officers and revealed more about his plan. He said he would open fire on the crowd with an automatic rifle during the countdown to midnight. He then would take hostages in a nearby bar, and he said he wanted to be killed by police. His older brother, Hassan Ali, was shot by police in 2018 when he fatally stabbed Pellegrini's owner, Sisto Malaspina, on Bourke Street. Ali says he hates ISIS for what they did to his brother and says he's thankful he was caught. The judge accepted his remorse is genuine. With time already served, he'll be eligible for parole in 4.5 years. Emma O'Sullivan for 10 News First.
The family of a young man who went missing 6 days ago in waters off the Gold Coast say their hopes of finding him alive have faded. They're pleading with authorities to find his body to help bring closure to his relatives and friends.
Shattered and heartbroken, Brett Nelson can't believe his future brother-in-law is still missing.
Jared surfed Stratty every week since he was probably 12, so yeah, a little bit surreal at the moment for all of them.
Jared Treacher was last seen at a Gold Coast address on Saturday morning. His car was later found at the Spit, with unconfirmed reports he'd gone bodyboarding in the large swell. Although an experienced surfer, police confirmed the 30-year-old suffered a medical condition. Now 6 days on, his family feared the worst.
It shows that this can really just happen to anybody. You know, you pick one slight misjudgment of the ocean, and when it's big, you know, these things can happen.
Pleas to find the popular surfer have gone viral, giving his family strength.
To wake up in the morning and see Kelly Slater, it's unbelievable to see him sharing stuff with Jared.
The land, sea and air search for Jared between Main Beach and South Stradbroke Island has been scaled back as hopes fade, with both of his fins now recovered.
It would mean a lot for the family if you could just look for Jared. I know nobody wants to find a body, but it would be amazing for them to get some closure.
To lay a beloved son, brother and friend to rest. Matthew Howard for 10 News First.
Scott Morrison and his embattled Energy Minister have done a spectacular policy backflip on electric cars. After ridiculing the Labor Party not so long ago for getting behind cleaner cars, the government is now firmly on board.
Today, the government released a discussion paper on the technology Australia must embrace for cheap, reliable energy, which helps lower emissions.
This is the first stage in an important process of establishing technology priorities for reducing emissions.
And guess what that includes? A push for more electric cars on the roads. 12 months ago, we were told this.
It's about time this country got in front of the electric car revolution.
Only for the coalition to issue these warnings.
We are going to stand by our tradies and we are going to save their utes.
Taking the choices away from Australians of what car they even are going to drive.
They completely went hysterical, and now it appears that actually what we were saying just a year ago is actually what needs to happen.
Today, the Energy Minister defended the backflip.
Well, I tell you what we attacked and will continue to attack is Labor's policies which tell people what sort of car to drive.
As he now tells people they should drive an electric car. Unsurprisingly, Labor sees benefits in today's policy announcement.
They can take that pathway to the extent that this roadmap does that. Well, we will embrace it.
The government's policy is about more than electric cars like this one. It's also about capturing carbon in soils and hydrogen and gas technology. The aim is to be environmentally friendly and economically efficient. For anyone unclear about today's policy, the paper includes this helpful bubble graph to make everything plain and simple to understand. Clear as mud. Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
Well, time now for an early weather check, Josh. The rain's arrived.
Yeah, a soggy southeast this afternoon, Georgie. Let's check out the southeast radar. You can see that rain ramping up from around about lunchtime today. It started off relatively light across the Darling Downs and parts of Brisbane, but as the afternoon went forward, you can see that rain started to pick up. We had a heavier band move through Brisbane Airport, where 15 millimetres was recorded. Salisbury picked up 35 millimetres and Inala picked up around about 18. We have seen huge amounts of rain, though, further north, up around areas of Tully. In fact, Bulgan Creek close by in the last 48 hours picking up 524 millimetres of rainfall. That's half a metre of water, if you can believe it. Those showers, though, are starting to ease. Looking at the temperatures across the southeast, below average thanks to the rain and the cloud cover. 22 the top in the city, the same mark on the Gold and Sunshine Coast, and we hit 21 at Ipswich. Some cool weather on the way. Details coming up 5 to 6.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Josh. Ahead, lives lost in Cyclone Amphan, but a new threat is facing millions more. Also, schoolyard crash, a pilot plummets from the sky in California. And ducking and weaving to get to the other side.
Be simply clever and visit Mount Gravatt Skoda. With European styling and a host of clever features, once you experience a Skoda, you won't look back. Mount Gravatt Skoda. Simply clever on Logan Road, or visit mountgravattskoda.com.au.
What are you hoping that a dog will bring to your life?
Oh, happiness. My wife's been very ill. She passed away. Before she passed away, she said, get yourself a little dog.
What a lovely day now. Perfect day to meet a new dog.
This is Ruby. She's come in to us because her owner died.
When she came in, she was dragging her tail. She's coming to you now.
Oh, thank you.
That was when her tail went up. Means that she's happy with us.
Yeah.
I think this is what his wife envisaged when she said, go get yourself a little dog.
It's a match made in doggy heaven. 7 o'clock Saturday on 10.
Bob Jane T-Mart's Bridgestone Bonanza. Save 25% on a large range of Bridgestone passenger and SUV tyres. Up to $100 instant cashback on the full range of jeweller tyres.
Do it, baby.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse doesn't win but runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Randwick, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
Lendy is helping thousands of households save on average about $2,832 in interest over the next year on their home loans. That's millions in savings for Aussies when they need it most. How can Lendy help you save?
Go on.
At Devondale, we believe great milk comes from cows that graze free.
With Light and Easy, you can still enjoy a huge variety of delicious healthy meals in the comfort and safety of your home, thanks to their chefs and dietitians and their contactless delivery service. In fact, Light and Easy has recently been rated Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service, scoring 5 stars for customer satisfaction as well as taste, variety and freshness, all things you'll find on their autumn menu. Enjoy delicious, healthy meals with Light and Easy's contactless, award-winning delivery. Order today.
At Palm Lake Resort, luxury over 50s designer living has arrived. Enjoy exclusive access to world-class leisure facilities. Luxury designer homes available right now. Palm Lake Resort. This is your time.
Mackenzie Aged Care has opened its brand new aged care community in the heart of Buderim. Permanent and respite care, family owned and operated. Book a tour today, 1300 899 222, or visit our website.
When your hair's not weighed down, you can do the day. Introducing new Pantene 0% silicone. Unlike silicone found in ordinary shampoos, new Pantene has nourishing lipids. The difference is clear. New Pantene 0% silicone formula gives you lightweight, smooth hair that lasts through to the next day. Do 0% silicone. Do new Pantene.
Your 2-minute noodles
My mouth is tingling.
All I can say is wow.
are getting a MasterChef makeover tonight.
Hello there. Are we on the road to recovery across the labour market? Seek analysis suggests some promising signs. In the 2 weeks to Sunday, new job ads posted on the website jumped almost 27%. Roles in the consumer services sector, which includes admin and office jobs, hospitality, tourism and retail, recorded the biggest growth. Let's have a look at it in graph form. Now, April's average is the baseline, as it was a real low point. Each colour represents a state. Now, you can see a big dive, and after a flat period in April, job ads are slowly starting to tick back up. But the Housing Industry Association is warning 500,000 jobs are at risk because of the building of new homes, and that it's forecast to drop by almost 50%. COVID-19 has seen a big fall in demand for rentals from international students and migrants, and of course there's economic uncertainty. It says the shock will last several years and requires government support. How did the share market finish up the day? Well, it ended in negative territory. Pokies maker Aristocrat Leisure saw red after COVID-19 casino closures hammered profits. Shares in our miners were down too after China flagged changes to import rules, while Afterpay hit records after revealing it now has 5 million active US customers. A quick look at the dollar. It's down against all the major currencies, buying 65.6 US cents. And that's finance.
At least 20 people have died and thousands of homes lost after Cyclone Amphan smashed the coasts of India and Bangladesh. Mass evacuations saved millions of people, but there's now fears many are facing another emergency.
A wall of wind rips the roofs off buildings and sends homes tumbling as trees buckle at their roots. Locals sought shelter wherever they could as Cyclone Amphan made landfall with brutal force. Many hunkered down in the dark as it toppled power lines and sparked electrical fires. The deadly weather system formed in the Bay of Bengal 6 days ago, barrelling towards India and Bangladesh at nearly 200 kilometres an hour before crashing into the coast last night. Seawater surged 17 kilometres inland, flooding homes and farms that were already drenched by heavy rain. Thousands are feared homeless and more than a dozen people have been killed, but it could have been much worse. A mass evacuation effort spared more than 2.6 million residents, but authorities fear they've moved many out of the path of one disaster into the arms of another. Evacuees were packed together in rescue centres in an area where the threat of COVID-19 looms large.
No social distance is maintained there. For that reason, the fear of coronavirus spread is persistent.
Now, a waiting game, as both countries try to rebuild and assess the fallout of fighting a crisis on two fronts. Amber Caneen for 10 News First.
The world has recorded its highest number of COVID cases in a single day. More than 106,000 people tested positive in just 24 hours, with the majority in the United States, Russia, Brazil and India. And just in the last hour, known global infections passed 5 million, with 327,000 deaths.
We're very concerned about the rising numbers of cases in low and middle-income countries.
The true number of cases is thought to be significantly higher, especially in developing countries where testing is limited. A huge fire has broken out at a plastic recycling plant in north-east England. 20 crews battled for hours to put out the blaze, which smothered the town of Newton-le-Willows in thick, toxic smoke. It's not clear what sparked the fire, but it came on Britain's hottest day of the year. In California, a doorbell camera has captured the moment a small plane plunged into the grounds of an elementary school, killing the pilot. The aircraft came crashing down on the basketball court, but fortunately the school was closed due to the coronavirus pandemic. The single-engine plane was just 6 kilometres from the airport. Troops from Russia's feared National Guard have taken on a new mission to get a family of ducks across a busy road. Traffic was stopped both ways as the 2 adult ducks and their 12 ducklings waddled and quacked their way across 10 lanes near the centre of Moscow. Eventually, they reached the safety of a nearby park without ruffling too many feathers. Lucky ducks. Stay with us. Tonight's top stories follow the break. Also, the silent killer in kids, the new project to stop sepsis before it's too late. And Bon Voyage, a statue spring clean leads to an AC/DC road trip.
Tonight, ensuring you're at a safe social distance is hard enough, but what about for those who are legally blind?
And forget Gen Y and millennials, could you be part of the boomerang generation?
And premiers battle it out in a full-blown border brawl. The only way I can see this being sorted out is bringing back It's a Knockout.
Oh, that's an excellent idea. All that and more coming up at 6:30.
Chopsticks at the ready.
We would like you to pimp up these instant noodles.
Your 2-minute noodles are getting a MasterChef makeover.
My mouth is tingling.
All I can say is wow.
The pimped up 2-minute noodles. Tonight on 10.
Let's do it, baby. It's on, mate.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse doesn't win but runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Randwick, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
Far North Queensland is bracing itself for more wet weather after days of heavy rain.
Hi. They've had 140 millimetres in the last 24 hours.
After Townsville flooded, Barbara and the team were some of the first on the ground, lodging claims and getting people's lives back on track. That's the Suncorp spirit.
You don't give in. You don't give up. You push on when most would have pushed off. You lend a hand, whether a hand was asked for or not. It's called Aussie Spirit for good reason, because it takes spirit to get through times like these. Lucky you've got it in spades. It's what inspires us to be by your side to help. Together we'll get through this. We always do. Search Toyota, here to help.
Infused oil deluxe crisps from Red Rock Deli.
Dear mind, you're so good at caring for everyone else, but caring for you is important too. So take time to lose yourself in a book. And in the moment, learn something new. But above all, be kind to yourself. All my love, me.
Create a healthier relationship with your mind. Learn more at qld.gov.au/mental wellbeing. Authorised by the Queensland Government, Brisbane.
Compensation claims are messy, but with Gouldson Legal, they don't have to be. Find legal jargon overwhelming? All good. We'll translate it for you. Not sure which way to go? No worries. We'll guide you. What about legal fees? Easy. Gouldson does it no win, no fee. 30% max. And telling your story? Don't stress. We'll look after you. Compensation claims made easy. Gouldson Legal.
Do it, baby. Strong, mate.
Make this Saturday one to remember. If your horse doesn't win but runs second, third or even fourth in races 1 to 6 at Randwick, get your money back in bonus up to $50. PointsBet.
JB stores are open for business with the hottest deals. Take 40% of this Garmin Fenix Fly Sports Watch. That's $350 off. And 30% of these Audio-Technica noise-cancelling headphones smashed to $244. Buy in-store, online, click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
Again, as we wrap things up for this wet Thursday night on the roads, another crash now on the Gympie Arterial Road. It's heading northbound, just around that Gateway merge at 8 Mile Plain, Bald Hills rather. Delays are back to Castledine, back to Deagon on the Gateway as well. The run down through 8 Mile Plain, fairly busy too on the Pacific Motorway at that Gateway merge. A multi-vehicle crash on Beerburrum Road around Hastings Street through Caboolture, and still really slow going on Gympie Road, pretty much from Kedron all the way up towards the Bruce Highway after a couple of earlier crashes. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Mount Gravatt Skoda. Have a great night, and I'll be back to check the roads again for you tomorrow.
Tonight's top stories: brave bystanders leap into action tackling an alleged armed car thief on the Gold Coast after crashing a stolen vehicle into a tram. Accused killer Christopher Puglia hit with a fresh allegation over the murder of his parents. He's now being charged with attempted arson. And the border wars have intensified, with Pauline Hanson threatening High Court action over the Premier's refusal to budge on the bans. Hundreds of sick children could hold the key to finding a faster way to diagnosing a silent killer. Sepsis is a potentially deadly consequence of severe infections, but Queensland researchers are hoping a genome study could save lives, and quickly.
Lily Cridland was a picture of health until one Tuesday evening last month when the 8-year-old began to complain of a sore hip. A few days later, she was in hospital undergoing tests.
The doctor walked into the room and just looked at me and my stomach just fell to the floor.
A staph infection had turned septic. Lily's own body was attacking itself.
The moment she said Lily's kidneys were failing, I thought that was it. I thought my baby's going to die tonight.
But Katie Batham's brave little girl pulled through, released from intensive care a few days ago. And Lily may be able to help future sufferers of sepsis by a simple blood donation.
So we're going to take blood of children that come in with severe infections to find out actually can we improve the way we diagnose them.
Around 5,000 Australians are killed by sepsis each year. That's more deaths than the national road toll. Sepsis can be difficult to diagnose. The current tests involve growing blood cultures.
But they're slow and not 100%, reliable.
The results taking up to 72 hours. Researchers from the University of Queensland, in conjunction with Queensland Children's Hospital, want to slash time. They're investigating the way our genes are activated or deactivated during sepsis. It's hoped the study, which has just received a multi-million-dollar funding boost from the federal government, could lead to a rapid bedside test.
And in the future, we think that this will be able to have a turnaround time of less than 1 hour.
Allowing life-saving treatment to begin much earlier. Brendan Savage for 10 News First.
A historic sculpture of late AC/DC frontman Bon Scott has been dug up from its foundations in WA. The statue driven through the streets on the highway to one hell of a makeover.
Bon voyage to an Aussie rock legend. And it's a long way to the top if you weigh 800 kilos. Bon Scott's iconic Fremantle statue on the move. But don't worry, he'll rock and roll his way back soon.
Well, Bon Scott's such a hero, so they decided he needed a bigger and a better stage to put him up on, where he belongs.
The statue was crowdfunded by fans more than a decade ago, a tribute to the late AC/DC frontman who helped the Perth band take the world by storm.
For it to come here and for him to be one of the most, photographed sculptures perhaps in Australia, it's very humbling for me.
He'll be missing from his usual spot for 6 weeks while it gets a makeover. dirty deeds, but they won't be done dirt cheap. Well, Bond's been here since 2008 and he's only ever been moved once before. Originally, he was just across the road, but now he's going on a trip to a storage yard before he comes back here to his new home.
We're going to have a big stage for Bon Scott. He's going to go up there, there's going to be lighting shining up at him.
2 months ago, 150,000 people lined Perth's Canning Highway as part of the AC/DC tribute concert on the very road that inspired the band's hit song. The statue will be placed in a holding yard until the renovation is complete, where it'll receive a little bit of TLC.
While Bon's away, he might get a bit of a tidy up, might get you know, a bit of a polish here and there.
Bon will be back on display in July. Brendan Crew for 10 News First.
In tip-top shape indeed.
Yeah.
It is sport time. Jono, a Broncos veteran on the move.
That's right, but at the end of an era, Georgie. Thank you. Have the run coming up. Andrew McCulloch's Broncos career is over, and we chat exclusively with his heir apparent. That's next. It's set to be a long season of rugby league. The NRL locks in the dates for State of Origin. And with the NBA still in lockdown, what's Ben Simmons doing to pass the time?
Be simply clever and visit Mount Gravatt Skoda. With European styling and a host of clever features, once you experience a Skoda, you won't look back. Mount Gravatt Skoda. Simply clever on Logan Road, or visit mountgravatskoda.com.au.
We're checking in with Kate Langbrook in Italy next.
Hey, do you like chocolate?
I love chocolate.
Oh, do you love laughing?
Craziest thing I'd ever seen.
Do you love superheroes?
I love you guys so much.
You're going to love Friday night with Jamie and Graham from 7:30 on 10. You'll love to see it.
Hey mate, sign here.
Sign here.
Fast track your shop with Repco Home Delivery.
A promise is something Brighton Homes have always taken seriously. They're committed to building homes that let life in. But right now, a promise is more important than ever. Brighton promises that their homes will still embrace the best in Queensland living, with flexible deposit conditions and a price hold of up to 20 months. Plus, with a considerate cashback of up to 30 grand, you know the future is better with Brighton.
Healthy morning habits help prepare you for the day ahead. Sustigen Hospital Formula Active contains the essential vitamins, minerals and quality protein your body needs to stay strong and active. Sustigen, it's never too late to start.
Right now, businesses are doing whatever they can to take care of their business and their staff, and that's why many are choosing to expand online. But taking your business online can be tricky, and that's where CommBank e-commerce solutions come in.
CommBank helped me sell my products online securely, so people can enjoy my restaurants in their living rooms.
We're here to help businesses get up and running online so they can stay up and running.
And we can, together.
For professional advice and healthy savings every day, visit Good Price Pharmacy Warehouse.
Get the Swiss Vitamin range half price, plus Pharmacy Essentials antibacterial wipes just $2 at Good Price Pharmacy Warehouse. We'll be there.
You know you'll make a great mum one day.
Wise men say.
You know, I had the weirdest cravings when I was pregnant with you. Pickles and ice cream.
Oh, if I can falling in love with you.
Quality, style, exceptional value. A Mazda stands out. At the Mazda Standout End of Financial Year event, get a Mazda CX-5 Max from $32,990 drive away. Search Mazda offers now.
Pocket watch. Nobody's got time for that.
This Saturday with Sportsbet at 3 tracks for races 1 to 6, finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets. That's 18 races with Sportsbet.
Hey mate, sign here.
Sign here.
Fast track your shop with Repco Home Delivery.
Your 2-minute noodles
My mouth is tingling.
All I can say is wow.
are getting a MasterChef makeover tonight.
Tonight's Sport Report is brought to you by Repco. Get your order delivered to your door. Shop now at repco.com.au.
Good evening. A week out from the NRL's return, and Andrew McCulloch has parted ways with the Broncos, signing with Newcastle for the rest of the season. Boom youngster Corey Pakes is in line to fill the void and spoke exclusively with 10 News First today.
The signs were there this morning. Andrew McCulloch absent from training for personal reasons as confirmation followed his 260-game, 12-year tenure at the Broncos was over.
You look at Macca, he's a great player. He's been a great servant for the club and he's played so many games and he knows so much about the game.
Corey Pakes is next in line for Brisbane's utility role after working hard to turn himself from a halfback into a hooker.
I think I've got a lot to offer with my speed, especially just identifying around the ruck. In halfback row, you're not copping the traffic as much, but defensively I found myself pretty comfortable in the middle.
A product of the Broncos system, he's lived with Cooper Cronk comparisons since his junior days in Toowoomba. The 20-year-old now spends his time studying Damien Cook as his NRL debut looms.
I want to write my own story, like I'm Corey Pakes, I'm no one else, and with that comes a lot of hard work and lots of I suppose.
There's no question this is now Seibold's team. McCulloch's the fourth high-profile player to leave under his tenure.
You know, I've got great belief in this group. I think they're an exceptional group of guys, on and off the field, and I think there's a lot of there's a lot of care factor across the group.
Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
The NRL has held off in naming the venues for this year's State of Origin series in the hope crowds can attend by November. But Cowboy Valentine Holmes has voiced his concern on whether players will be able to back up in 3 matches within 14 days.
This has always been the toughest arena rugby league has to offer, and the players are already bracing for this year's series to be the hardest of all.
I don't think anyone's kind of played at that level 3 weeks in a row from what I can remember. It's obviously going to be pretty tough on the body.
I think it's a different arena. I always try to say it's kind of like another sport origin. It's just different to NRL, I think.
But don't confuse their concern with their motivation to wear maroon.
That's what we play for. We want to make those teams and try and play in all those games. So, if I get the nod at the end of the year, I'll definitely be trying my best.
As for where the matches will be played,
we want to wait and see what the government protocols change to over time. And if there's a chance that we're able to get crowds back at the back end of the season, then we'll be in a better position to determine where we'll play.
Andrew Abdo did provide an update on the Integrity Unit's investigation involving Cody Walker.
Is ongoing. There are a number of open and outstanding integrity matters. We are looking to finalise those as quickly as we can.
A decision on how James Roberts will re-enter the Rabbitohs training group after his rehab stint is also nearing.
I've referred to our biosecurity experts who are looking at it, and we'll be able to make a determination probably before the weekend.
While on the Gold Coast, the Titans insist their near clean bill of health following the lockdown is a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, let's be honest, we weren't up to scratch in those first 2 games, so our boys have come back really fit and ready.
Josh McLean for 10 News First.
The AFL's new look fixture could be released as early as tomorrow, and there's no guarantee the South Australian teams will join a Queensland hub at all, with restrictions easing there. But according to Lions cult hero Mitch Robinson, the ongoing drama hasn't become a distraction in the lead-up to round 2.
This season's about who adapts the best, and I believe we've started at the highest level possible. So if it does get eased during this time, I think we'll be able to handle the best as well.
West Coast at the Gabba is the Lions' most likely opponent when the competition resumes. Shane Van Gisbergen has produced the first perfect round of the E-Series, winning all 3 races in round 7 to snatch the championship lead. He pipped Cam Waters to take the opener in Charlotte, but it wasn't all smooth sailing at the finish.
Monstrous contact. Van Gisbergen trips over. Waters trips over.
The Kiwi backed it up with a double at Daytona to take a 64-point series lead over Scott McLaughlin. The NBA's been shut down for more than 2 months now, so with plenty of extra time on his hands, Ben Simmons has turned his talents from skyhooks to fishhooks and from making steals to spinning reels.
So far, no success. But in moments, who knows? We could catch the biggest fish in the area in just a matter of moments. Let's check it with Catcherman Simmons. Oh, God!
Unsurprisingly, with that technique, Simmons caught nothing but a cold, so to make sure he doesn't head home empty-handed, or let him fill his tackle box with our play of the day. There's nothing worse than going fishing and coming home without a fish, Georgina.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Jono. When will the rain clear? Josh has all the details after the break.
The biffo between premiers over state borders next.
Chopsticks at the ready.
We would like you to pimp up these instant noodles.
Your 2-minute noodles are getting a MasterChef makeover.
My mouth is tingling.
All I can say is wow.
The pimped up 2-minute noodles. Tonight on 10. And in MasterChef's Best Dish Week, which one of these amazing dishes is the greatest ever dish?
Wow.
At ANZ, we're here to help you get on top of your money. So if you need a hand banking from home, support through the ups and downs of business, or to ease the pressures of your home loan, we're here and ready to help.
This Saturday with Sportsbet, get the best payout across all 3 tabs with top-toed exotics. Nail a quinella, trifecta or even the quaddie and you'll get the biggest return. Top-toed exotics from Sportsbet.
JB stores are open for business with the hottest deals to keep you connected. Get $150 on the latest 128GB Samsung Galaxy S20 phone. Take 15% off Lenovo and Asus computers and stacks more. Buy in-store, online, click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
At Palm Lake Resort Toowoomba, luxury living has a new name. Indulge a little. Take a dip in the pool, enjoy a game of tennis, or lawn bowls with friends. With exclusive access to our world-class country club and leisure facilities, there's something for everyone. Designer homes available right now. Take a virtual tour of our display homes on our website.
Palm Lake Resort. This is your time.
Dear mind, you're hard at work all day. Remember to make time for you. Balance your commitments with quality me time. Enjoy every step. Connect or reconnect. And be good to yourself. Anytime, any place. Love from me.
Create a healthier relationship with your mind. Learn more at qld.gov.au/mental wellbeing. Authorised by the Queensland Government, Brisbane.
If you're struggling to balance work, life and family, you need to shake it up. Ensure Health Shakes help you get the nutrition you need to help your body build strength from within, with a prebiotic and antioxidants to support a healthy immune system, calcium and protein for muscle and bone health. Put more balance in your work-life balance. Shake it up with Ensure.
JB stores are open for business with the hottest deals for your smart home. Arlo Ultra 3-camera wire-free security system with bonus Google Nest Hub and Arlo Doorbell $14.49. Lenovo Smart Display 2 for $1.99. Buy in store, click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
Pocket watch. Nobody's got time for that.
This Saturday with Sportsbet at 3 tracks for races 1 to 6, finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets. That's 18 races with Sportsbet.
Imagine finding a picture of yourself as a child on a missing persons website.
Oh my God, that's me.
It's one man's shocking reality, his heart-wrenching mission to find out where he came from and his real parents. It's an incredible real-life drama tomorrow on Studio 10.
It is weather time, Josh. Cooler days ahead.
Yeah, that's right, Georgie. That change moving through tonight in behind it, some cooler, drier air that'll drive down those temperatures over the coming mornings, down around about 5 degrees for areas like Ipswich across the weekend. We'll get to that in detail in just a moment. Firstly, let's head to the Ridges weather cam, where today we hit a top of 22 degrees. Below average for this time of year due to the cloud cover and the rain activity. Right now we're sitting on 19, humidity at 91% and the winds at 4 kilometres per hour. Diving into the satellite tonight, you can see an extensive cloud band right across northern parts of Australia and pushing into areas of Queensland. In amongst this, we've seen some widespread rain across the state. We've seen huge amounts of rainfall across the north coast. In fact, just near Tully, Bulgan Creek, over the last 48 hours has recorded 524 millimetres of rainfall, half a metre of water. We do have a minor flood warning in place for the Tully River at the moment. We've also seen that rain ramp up across southeast Queensland during Thursday. It was only light around about lunchtime. It started to get a little bit heavier during this afternoon. Salisbury picked up 35 millimetres, Inala 18. We picked up around about 7 in the city, and recently, due to that band of rain you can see pushing through there, the airport picked up 16 into the gauges. It will be relatively short-lived. That rain will clear as we get through tonight and that change begins to push offshore. What we will see is an east coast low form off the New South Wales coast. So a little bit further south tomorrow for Wollongong, Sydney, we could see some damaging winds, heavy rain, large surf and even severe weather conditions. But further north, it should be a fine day for areas of southeast Queensland. You'll get that crisp, clear air thanks to that frontal system pushing on through. However, tomorrow we're going to see some showers and areas of rain for eastern districts, north of around about Rocky as we get through tomorrow, just with the lag of that system pushing through central and northern Queensland. Again, the northeast coast could see a few showers, and we could even get some showers and rain areas over western districts anywhere north of Winton tomorrow. But as you can see, the southeast does clear overnight. Moving interstate and Sydney, well, it's not looking too crash hot tomorrow. We're going to see strong winds, rain, 16 degrees, the top forecast temperature. 11 on the way for Canberra with some showers tomorrow. Much the same in Melbourne, hitting 14 degrees, 15 for Hobart, and a fine day for Perth, hitting tops of 23. For the north coast of Queensland, those showers persisting, even some rain at times for Townsville with a top of 23. Some light rain for the Isa as well, 18 degrees, and things starting to dry up for Roma now, 15 tomorrow, 3 degrees first thing in the morning. So that early frost will be a feature, and a sheep grazies alert still remains in place for the Darling Downs and Granite Belt for Friday. Moving into the southeast forecast, we're looking at a top of 21 for the sunny coast and the Gold Coast tomorrow. We're looking at fine skies for most areas, 21 the top as well for Logan and also Ipswich. Toowoomba going for tops of 13 degrees. Out on the bay, we've got west to southwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 20 knots, and the sea's up to 1.5 metres. So looking a little bit lumpy out there for Friday, 20 degrees the max in the city. It will be mostly sunny as we get through tomorrow. Staying that way on Saturday, tops of 19 degrees, but you will notice those temperatures first thing in the morning getting cool. Even Brisbane dipping down to 9 degrees first thing Sunday morning. You think that's cool? Check out Ipswich. We're starting to drop down over the next couple of days. 7 degrees Saturday morning, down to 5 degrees first thing on Sunday. We'll have the extended forecast for the Golden Sunshine Coast coming up shortly.
A fake Ghana collision course with a tram and a citizen's arrest all in an afternoon on the Gold Coast. 2 alleged carjackers are tonight behind bars, and we have a development on the story. Underage and out of control teens on a wild ride north of Brisbane and putting innocent lives at risk. And more fuel on the fire as the border battle blazes on. And if Pauline Hanson has her way, it'll go all the way to the High Court. We've received an update from police in the past hour over the dramatic turn of events on the Gold Coast this afternoon. A Currumbin man and a Logan teenager have now been charged over that terrifying carjacking. As Matthew Howard explains, it all ended when brave bystanders leapt into action.
Just before 2 o'clock this afternoon, this intersection here in Broadbeach was thrown into complete chaos when a man driving a stolen BMW made an illegal U-turn on the Gold Coast Highway directly into the path of an oncoming tram. The car was T-boned and thrown across the road. It's then the driver and his female passenger tried to flee the scene. Armed with a fake handgun, the man attempted to carjack another female driver. Bravely, she said no, triggering the man to grapple her.
Yeah, she's a trooper. Mate, don't mess with girls. Don't mess with women, cars or handbags, mate. There's a rule for you.
Unsuccessful, the car thief then tried to flee, only to be run down by Joel Pearce, who heard the commotion from his nearby unit.
So I just made sure Lizzie was okay, she was all right, and then I said, all right, I'm gonna go get him.
The actor leapt on the man's back after copping a punch to the jaw. He managed to bring him down before several other bystanders helped in a citizen's arrest until police arrived.
Yeah, I'd like to think that the community helped out. You know, I'd like to think that when good people do nothing, then bad things continue to happen.
19 passengers on board the tram were assessed for injuries. None were taken to hospital. The woman who almost had her car stolen took herself to the doctor for injuries to her wrist.
Yeah, she was tough, mate. She's a tough son of a gun. She'll assist us now. She's gone back to the station to provide information.
The man and the woman from the BMW are now in police custody, awaiting a long list of charges before they face court tomorrow.
Now to the utter act of stupidity that simply beggars belief. 5 teenagers have terrorised innocent drivers in a wild ride north of Brisbane. In a stolen car, they travelled on the wrong side of the road and posted their death-defying antics on social media. Police received multiple 000 calls as the joyride continued. A 13-year-old is among the gang members involved. All have now been charged. A huge clean-up is currently underway in Sydney's southwest after a car crashed into a busy shop, injuring 10 people. It's understood the 51-year-old man behind the wheel has a history of driving offences. Tonight, he's in police custody, undergoing mandatory blood and alcohol testing.
It all seems to happen in slow motion, through the smoke and the beeping.
What's wrong?
A minivan emerges. It crosses the busy Greenacre intersection and smashes through the front door of a store. Glass, clothes and mannequins are strewn across the floor as the car finally comes to a stop. Hijab House was packed, mainly with young women, with Eid, the end of Ramadan, just days away.
10 people in or close to the vicinity of the house have been taken to hospital. One person has serious leg injuries and possibly a second person with serious injuries. The driver of the offending vehicle is also at hospital. He has been under arrest since the incident happened and he's now undergoing blood and urine testing.
At this stage, there is no suggestion the crash was deliberate. Sydney Pede for 10 News First.
Attempted arson is the latest charge for Christopher Puglia, the man accused of bashing his parents to death in their bed and breakfast north of Brisbane. As Samantha Butler explains, it's now believed he tried to torch the home.
Christopher Puglia was represented by his lawyer here at Pine River's Magistrates Court after arriving in Queensland overnight. The court heard the 31-year-old wanted to appear in person to hear the proceedings but couldn't due to COVID-19 restrictions. Queensland police drove the accused killer from Sydney after successfully applying for extradition on 2 counts of murder. Frank and Loris Puglia's bodies were found by a relative inside the Joyner property on Sunday afternoon. It's believed they had been killed the previous day. The 31-year-old was arrested by police in Sydney on Sunday evening. He's also charged with unlawful use of a motor vehicle, and today police charged him with attempted arson as well. We understand they'll allege he tried to set fire to the family home.
Given the nature of the allegations, it goes without saying that he's pretty overwhelmed. That's all he really said to me.
Mr Puglia was remanded in custody and his case returns to court in July. Police are continuing to call for anyone who noticed anything suspicious near the Joyner property on Saturday afternoon to come forward.
The Premier is under even more pressure tonight to reopen our borders, with Pauline Hanson threatening to take the issue to the High Court. But Anastasia Palaszczuk says she won't be lectured to by a state that hasn't contained COVID-19 as well as she has.
Queensland isn't the only state standing firm and rejecting calls to reopen its borders.
We have, I believe, the best health officer here in the nation.
Western Australia, the Northern Territory and South Australia also aren't budging, even though the national health advice is there's no reason to stay closed.
If we keep our borders closed,
we can actually accelerate lifting restrictions in our state.
But this isn't just a battle of the borders, with a looming state election shining the spotlight on the Sunshine State.
Lives are being destroyed and there's just no logic to her position now. If she's conducting a social experiment, well, let us know.
New South Wales Liberal Premier Gladys Berejiklian has been a little more diplomatic.
We're all adults and we should be able to have this conversation. This isn't personal, this is about doing what we believe is in the best interest of our citizens.
But Queensland's Labor government isn't backing down.
It's very prevalent in New South Wales and Victoria.
With a population of 7.5 million and 400 active cases, it's not really that prevalent in New South Wales.
We're not going to be lectured to by a state that has the highest number of cases.
By the worst performing state in Australia.
One Nation's Pauline Hanson is threatening to take the dispute to new heights.
Open up the borders. Otherwise, I'm looking for a person in Queensland with standing to take her on in the High Court. I believe that she's using this as a political ploy in the lead up to the Queensland state elections. This is not leadership for the state.
There are strict constitutional rules around what is permissible and impermissible.
But Queensland's advice stands.
This is not the time for tourists to travel into Queensland because one case can cause an enormous setback
for the health system, economy and maybe even political careers. Tegan George for 10 News First.
The hero boatie who saved a baby whale on the Gold Coast has escaped a hefty fine. Django Hopkins dived in and freed the young humpback off Burleigh Heads on Tuesday, just minutes before authorities arrived. While he was praised for his good deed, he faced penalties of more than $25,000 for breaching multiple laws. Today, the Fisheries Department let him off with a caution, but he could still be hit for not having the proper safety equipment in his tinny. Coming up, a heartwarming milestone for an Aussie given very little chance of beating coronavirus. Also, for the first time, we show you the dramatic moment police opened fire on two armed brothers. And in sport, a Broncos veteran makes a sudden exit from Red Hill.
Lockdown restrictions may be easing here at home, but not everyone can head outside. Plus, Kate Lanebrook joins us as Italy gets back to business.
Chopsticks at the ready.
We would like you to pimp up these instant noodles.
Your 2-minute noodles are getting a MasterChef makeover.
My mouth is tingling.
All I can say is wow.
The pimped up 2-minute noodles. Tonight on 10.
Does anti-dandruff shampoo leave your hair dry? New Dove Dermacare Scalp is different. Tiffany used Dove on one side of her hair. The side with Dove is smooth. It fights dandruff and keeps hair smooth and nourished with no compromise. New Dove Dermacare Scalp.
JB stores are open for business with the hottest deals to keep you connected. Get $150 on the latest 128GB Samsung Galaxy S20 phone. Take 15% off Lenovo and Asus computers and stacks more. Buy in-store, online, click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
At Coles, we're helping lower the cost of your dinner with some of the key ingredients for delicious beef and thyme burgers. Like Coles brioche buns, 4-pack, just $2.70 every day. And Coles frozen chips, 1 kilo pack, down to $1.90. With Coles beef and thyme burgers on Mix, Match and Save, any of these 2 packs for just $12. For more great recipes and weekly specials, sign up for the digital catalogue at coles.com.au. Coles, good things, great value.
No matter how you care for them. Take comfort that Huggies Ultra Dry Nappy Pants Stretchy Fit and Instant Absorption keeps your baby's skin dry and comfortable. Huggies. Be comfortable in your skin.
It's LTV for me.
It's LTV for me.
More and more people are saying it's LTV for me because the LTV T60 4x4 diesel is from just $27,490 drive away. And eligible businesses may be able to claim the government instant asset write-off. Hurry, offer ends May 31.
When cold and flu symptoms strike, a kiss can make them feel better. But for effective relief through the night, there's Nurofen for children. Starts to reduce fever from 15 minutes and lasts for up to 8 hours. Nurofen for children.
Ready for a change? Suncorp now has 0 monthly account keeping fees on all deposit accounts. That's on both personal accounts and business accounts. That's the Suncorp spirit.
Going crazy stuck at home? Want help to cook up some fun? Why not get your Hungry Jack's flame-grilled favourites delivered now with Uber Eats or Menulog? With easier online ordering, the burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Do you know what type of cough you have? Do you have the right cough medicine? Bronchodual relieves any cough. It can be used for the relief of dry, tickly, chesty, mucus or phlegm coughs. Bronchodual relieves any cough.
Tough times don't excuse tougher times at home. Even in crisis, there's no place for abuse or domestic violence. If you or someone you know is affected, help is available online and by phone 24/7. For free, confidential advice, support and counselling for women and men, contact 1-800-RESPECT. There's no place for abuse or domestic violence. Help is here. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
My wife, before she passed away, she said, get yourself a little dog.
This is Ruby.
Her owner died. When she come in, she was dragging her tail.
She's coming to you now.
Thank you. That was when her tail went up. She's happy with us.
Yeah.
It's a match made in doggy heaven, 7 o'clock Saturday.
You're watching 10 News First. We now have never-before-seen footage of a terrifying standoff between two armed brothers and police last year. The men refused to surrender peacefully and were shot in a hail of bullets. And a warning, some viewers may find these images confronting.
It was never meant to play out this way.
Show us your hands. Just put your hands up. All right, it doesn't have to end like this, mate.
Officers went to the campsite on the Murray River to arrest Joshua Clavel, but he and his brother Joel rammed a police vehicle, injuring an officer. Then they stepped out, brandishing a knife and a tomahawk. Joshua was shot 3 times.
Joel, we can't help you, brother, unless you put the weapon down. Pardon? We're going to negotiate. Nah. Gun down. We want to help you, brother. I'll chop your head off.
The standoff with Joel continued for 9 minutes.
Put it down, mate. Come on. Do the right thing, buddy. Put it down.
Then he charged at police. Joel was shot 3 times and was airlifted to the Alfred Hospital in a critical condition. Both brothers survived and have pleaded guilty to a combined 9 charges. The body camera footage was played to a county court judge today. Police members were in fear of their safety and the safety of their colleagues, she said. The brothers had been camping on the Murray River for the month of Ramadan, and while these crimes are not being treated as acts of Muslim extremism, Joshua had come to the attention of counter-terrorism officers. And as the judge noted, it doesn't need to be extremism in the terrorist sense for me to be concerned about the animosity towards police. Their father was Rodney Clavel, who staged a 12-hour siege at an Adelaide brothel in 2014, which ended when he took his own life. Joshua is a 31-year-old father of 2 with a criminal history. He's classified as a major offender. Joel is 20 and until this day in June last year had barely come to the attention of police. The pair will be sentenced at a later date. Candice Wyatt for 10 News First.
An Adelaide man who's waged one of the nation's longest battles against coronavirus has finally been discharged from hospital. He was the first in South Australia admitted to ICU and is the last to leave, defying odds that even medical staff thought were stacked against him.
A guard of honour for an emotional farewell. Paul Farraguna on his feet leaves the Royal Adelaide Hospital after 37 days in intensive care, critically ill with coronavirus he contracted on the Ruby Princess cruise ship.
You going okay?
Yeah, no worries.
You want to keep walking?
I'll tell you when.
Yeah, tell us.
It's a moment his family have prayed for, but feared may never happen. At his worst, the 68-year-old was placed into an induced coma for 21 days.
He is one amazing, resilient gentleman who I don't think I've ever seen him be down at all in the whole time he's been here with us.
First admitted into hospital on March 22nd, Mr Farraguna's condition quickly deteriorated and he was the first COVID patient admitted into intensive care in SA.
We honestly didn't think he'd make it through, but to see him come out the other side is the most amazing gift you can have out of this pandemic.
Leaving a letter of thanks for medical staff. Even though I don't remember any of the time that I spent in the ICU, I very much appreciate the caring treatment I received and would like to thank them from the bottom of my heart. Paul Farraguna only took his first steps on his own this week. He now faces a long rehabilitation journey, likely 4 to 6 weeks, to rebuild his strength.
And just watch him get better, definitely a miracle.
Hannah Ford for 10 News First.
Queenslanders have landed another long weekend. Today the government announced it will move the Ekka public holiday to Friday, August 14, instead of the traditional Wednesday. It's designed to encourage all of us to hit the road and support the state's struggling tourism sector.
If we can't have sample bags, we might as well pack our travel bags and enjoy this one-off special Queensland holiday to support our local businesses.
Councils outside of Brisbane will be able to make similar arrangements for their show holidays. Well, Jono's back now with another look at sport.
Thank you, Georgie. Hello again. Queensland clubs have come out unscathed in the revised NRL draw, which features 2 local derbies, while the reigning premiers have banned their players from even mentioning the draw. Here's Emma Lawrence.
Well, as expected, there are some notable winners and losers from today. You could say the Parramatta have the dream draw. Why? Because they only play the 4 competition heavyweights once each. That is the Roosters, Raiders, Storm and Bunnies. Some other notable winners include the Raiders, Panthers and Sharkies. Now, in this so-called losers category is defending premiers the Roosters. They have to play the top 4 teams from last year twice each. And let's not forget, they are 0-2.
There are no easy games. Anyone can beat anyone on any given day. There's always going to be elements of inequality in any long competition.
There'll be 2 grand final rematches between the Chooks and Raiders, but who makes this year's decider? Well, the game's boss was playing it very cool.
So I'm going to get myself into trouble here, so I won't answer this. So I'm going to actually just smile and say everyone has their opinion on this. And I certainly have mine, but I'm not going to share it today.
We got confirmation today of the men's Origin fixtures. They'll be the first 3 Wednesdays in November. And just as exciting, for the 3rd year in a row, the women's match will be on a standalone Friday this year on the 13th of November.
Well, it's just a tremendous product. Like the product itself, I mean, we get close to 1 million people watching it. So it wasn't, to be honest, ever in debate.
So it's almost showtime. 7 days until the season kicks off. It all begins up at Suncorp Stadium with the Broncos hosting the Eels.
Emma Lawrence reporting there. Andrew McCulloch's 12-year tenure at the Broncos is over. The veteran hooker was released from his contract immediately this afternoon to take up an opportunity at the Knights. McCulloch played 260 games for the club.
You look at Macca, he's a great player. He's been a great servant for the club and he's played so many games and he knows so much about the game.
Corey Pakes is expected to take up the Broncos' utility role as he looks to make his NRL debut. With the Lions back at training at the Gabba and no noise other than the echo of their own voices, you'd think they'd be well prepared for the AFL's return without crowds. Well, not according to Mitch Robinson, who's still scarred from his round 1 experience.
I was actually shell-shocked and I didn't know how to take it when I ran out there and there's no crowd, and the only player I could hear was, I think, a Hawthorn emergency player up in the grandstand somewhere yelling abuse at us. So that's the only thing I could hear on the game day.
You'll need to come to grips with it fast, with the AFL set to release its new schedule as early as tomorrow. Crashes are an accepted part of the NASCAR game. Still, they can cause a little road rage.
A very unhappy Chase Elliott climbs out of that car. He wants to see somebody first, or...
Yep, he was in position to have a chance to win it.
Oh, boy.
Not nice at all. Chase Elliott wasn't the only driver steaming during the NASCAR's second race back. Again, there were no fans, but there was at least a fox at the track to enjoy the action, which ended early because of rain. Denny Hamlin was named winner of the shortened event, and he couldn't mask his smile. Very, very tricky there, isn't it,
That was a good mask, that one. Thanks, Jono. Well, coming up, Josh has the latest on the chilly temperatures for the southeast.
Chopsticks at the ready.
We would like you to pimp up these instant noodles.
Your 2-minute noodles are getting a MasterChef makeover.
My mouth is tingling.
All I can say is wow.
The pimped up 2-minute noodles. Tonight on 10.
At Drake Supermarkets, we've got ingredients for couch days with Cadbury Block Chocolate half price. And for barbecue days with Australian lamb loin chops, $16 a kilo. Drake Supermarkets.
Ingredients for every day.
Unlike most modems, Telstra's smart modem is cleverly backed up by Australia's best 4G network. So if the connection to your house stops, your home Wi-Fi won't, giving you Australia's most reliable home Wi-Fi. To experience better Wi-Fi, visit telstra.com today.
Far North Queensland is bracing itself for more wet weather after days of heavy rain.
They've had 140 millimetres in the last 24 hours.
After Townsville flooded, Barbara and the team were some of the first on the ground, lodging claims and getting people's lives back on track. That's the Suncorp spirit.
We're losing him.
What do you want to do?
When cold and flu symptoms strike, a kiss can make them feel better. But for effective relief through the night, there's Nurofen for children. Starts to reduce fever from 15 minutes and lasts for up to 8 hours. Nurofen for children.
Domino's $5 pizzas are incredible value. They're made with fresh dough and vine-ripened tomato sauce, topped with stretchy and tastier mozzarella, and served with total peace of mind. Thanks to zero contact pickup from Domino's.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card when you sign up to a new service on the Optus $65 per month SIM-only plan for 24 months with 80 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. That's right. Sign up to a new service on the $65 per month 24-month Optus SIM-only plan and you'll receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card. Offer ends June 30. New services only, not available with other offers. Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
Go! At IGA, you'll find great fresh specials this week, like Australian whole beef fillet only $13.50 per kilo, and middle bacon rashers just $9.95 per kilo. Great fresh specials at your local IGA.
Creating the ultimate memories sometimes means creating the toughest stains. Improved Omo Ultimate is Omo's most powerful laundry liquid. It attacks your tough stains first time and whitens and brightens. Try Omo Ultimate.
Up next, the COVID-19 border battle heats up with leaders split on what's best for the country. The push for a major new domestic violence inquiry after the latest completely failed Aussie victims. And are you part of the boomerang generation? And is the coronavirus crisis to blame? The project next.
Time now for a final weather check. Josh, widespread frost on the way.
Jack Frost emerging once again, Georgia, across parts of southeast Queensland, especially across parts of the Darling Downs and Granite Belt, where actually we've got a sheep graziers alert in place as we get through Friday due to those cold westerly winds, and that could affect the sheep and lambs in that area. But you can see here the extensive cloud band across Queensland. Plenty of rainfall today. That change will push through overnight, so the rain will clear first thing Friday morning. It should be a a sunny start to the day, although it will be a little bit cooler. We are expecting a bit of a lag in that change, so that trough will be relaxing back through central and northern areas of Queensland, and as a result of that, showers and rain areas over eastern districts anywhere north of around about Rocky for tomorrow. It will clear through the day, however, persisting through the northeast tropical coast once again, and there is a slight chance of some rain areas over western districts north of Winton, but not looking too bad across the southeast now that that change will push on through overnight, although it will start to cool down. We'll get to those temperatures in a moment. Showers persisting for Cairns tomorrow, 27, and rain periods for Townsville and 23. We're looking at the chance of rain as well for Rocky tomorrow, 21 the top, along with Bundaberg, Maryborough and Gympie should be partly cloudy. We're looking at a cool start for Roma, down to 3 overnight. For the southeast, mostly sunny skies, overnight temperatures falling to between 7 and 12 degrees, daytime temperatures reaching between 17 and 21. For Brisbane City, tops of 20 degrees tomorrow, so somewhat cooler, overnight lows of around about 13, and as we get across the weekend, down to 11 degrees Saturday morning and 9 degrees first thing Sunday. So keep that in the back of your minds. If you're heading out early with the kids, it will be a cool one. It'll be even colder through the western areas. Check out Ipswich, down to 8 degrees tomorrow. We're looking at mostly sunny skies for Friday. Staying fine over the weekend, 7 degrees Saturday morning, but down to 5 degrees first thing Sunday, and staying cool as we get through next week and really starting to dry out as well, thanks to broad areas of high pressure. Now for the coast, looking a little bit warmer. The air over the water moderates those temperatures, and you can see that reflected here on the forecast. Only down to 13 degrees tomorrow. Coolish though Saturday, Sunday, 11 and 10 degrees, warming up slightly into Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday next week, although we should see mostly sunny skies over the way for the course of the weekend. And it will be the same for the Sunshine Coast. Mostly sunny for Friday, staying that way Saturday and Sunday, down to 9 degrees first thing Sunday morning, up to 11 degrees Monday morning, but staying dry, and mostly sunny Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday next week. So some beautiful weather on the way over the next few days across areas of southeast Queensland after that rain today. But Georgie, we certainly did need it. Looked a little bit dry out there over recent weeks.
Yeah, it was nice to see the rain. Thank you, Josh. That is 10 News First for now. For more details on tonight's stories, head to 10 Daily. But stay on 10. The project is next. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Tonight, the COVID-19 border battle heats